Samantha's diary.
Hello everybody, here I am today with an unboxing that I am very excited about from Jessama Design. I know you've seen me do videos where I tried to copy Jessama Tutorials. This is the same person. She has an Etsy store where she sells her pendants and also sells tools to help you create with your polymer clay. You are getting ready to see me pause right here because when I opened that box and saw and pulled out this is a full-size extruder that Jessama has put, that Samantha, I always call her Jessama, that Samantha has added to this as a free gift. I was just shocked to get a full-size extruder. This is her thank you card that she puts in with her orders. And thank you, Samantha. I appreciate you being a Etsy seller. The first set that I got was the Rockin Ramboid. They each had 6 different cutters in them. I love these, the offset of the square of those, and these free shut. I actually used them and made a pair of earrings that I have for sale on my Etsy store. But today we are going to use these Rockin Ramboids to make a project. I'm also going to use a Lisa Pavlenka love letter stamp and some mica powder. I'm using this shining pearl white, and I'm going to use this iridescent clay that you saw me unbox a couple of videos ago from Sculpey.com. I have already made a Skinner blend, a very quick one. I should have did a little bit more because I would have liked the middle to be a little bit more green than what it was, but I'm satisfied with the way it looked. I folded it in half just to get the thickness up to where I wanted it to be for the pendant so that it would dome a little bit when I cut it. I am just right now going to put an outline on the clay. I'm not going to cut it all the way through because I just want to put an outline so I can see where I'm going to be laying my love letter stamp. I'm adding a little bit of water to the stamp before I place it down so it doesn't stick too badly to the clay. And we're going to roll the impression out onto the clay. I did get a tiny bit of ghosting because it moved, but it wasn't in the area where the pendant was, so I wasn't worried about doing it over again. And there it is. And now I'm just going to take the cutter and I am going to actually cut it out. I also wanted to get a cutout, so I got the smaller one, and I want to use the middle piece in the project also. And the way it's coming up doesn't have anything to do with the cutter. I did not press down hard enough, and this clay was very sticky. The consistency was different, I guess, for whatever they did to make it iridescent. So that had nothing to do with the cutter. And I'm just pressing it down a little bit more because it didn't go all the way through. And there we have it. I'm going to set the middle aside because we're going to use that, and I am going to take out the frame. All of the techniques you see me using in this video, I learned from watching Jessama Tutorials channel. Samantha is so very skilled, and everything she makes is just beautiful. So everything you see me doing here, I learned from her. So because of the way I cut it, it came out with some raggedy sides. So I'm using my blade to get rid of those raggedy sides, and I'm trying to push it back with my hands because it did get a little bit distorted, while at the same time kind of smoothing the sides too. Now we are going to use this shining pearl white mica powder to bring out the lettering of the Lisa Pavlenka stamp that I used. You'll see in a minute how that mica powder seeps down into the lettering and kind of brings it up for us. And now I'm just going to smooth out the insides to make sure the little raggly bits that are on the inside aren't really showing. I didn't want to pick it up and do this because, again, I didn't want to distort the piece too much. What I was doing already was a little bit distorting. Now we're going to use just some plain blue iridescent clay for our background. I'm just burnishing it so that it's really smooth on the back as well as the front. The front really doesn't matter too much because I'm going to be putting resin in it, but I still wanted it to straighten out. You will see that there is a little black dot on the clay. I actually tried to get it off, but I could not, and I didn't feel like doing it over again. But everything that I'm going to be doing to the inside of this is going to hide that. I'm just smoothing out the side so that it's less work in the end. This part you don't have to do. I did not get this from Samantha. I am doing this now. The clay is still unbaked, so it was going to stick together anyway, but I put this poly clay, liquid clay on there because when I put the top on it, I knew that it was going to help me like slide it around and slide it into place, just to help to keep me from messing it up or distorting it anymore. That poly clay, the wetness of the poly clay was just helping me slide it. You see how I'm like pressing and sliding it to the end? That's what I wanted to do. That's why I put the poly clay on there. It just helped with that process. And there we are. So I have this piece that I want to put in the middle, so we are going to do the same thing and bring out the lettering with the mica powder. And I am going to use the smallest Rockin Ramboid in here to like recut it so that it is the size that I want it to be to go into our piece. See that the piece got a little bit smaller because I took a regular square cutter and cut it again because it was still too big to fit inside of the piece like I wanted it to do. This is how we are looking straight out of the oven, and the sides came out really good. I don't even mind like right there because of that gradient that I have going on. It kind of fits maybe. Jessama advises though that this technique really only works with black, I think she says, and I can see why she says that. Get some focus here. I can see why she says that, but I'm not mad at this. I'm really not mad at this. But what needs to happen now is I need to do some sanding. I don't know if I can get in there because it's such a small space, but I see some like bubbles that came up, I guess, during baking that I'm probably not going to be able to get out. But the resin that I'm thinking about putting in the middle of here probably may hide that. And I also have that little square piece right now, it's drying, that I coated, that I'm going to put in there also. And I want to try to smooth out the back a little bit. You see that big bump there? So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to gloss it, and I'm going to come back for the last put together. And all this while I didn't know what this was going to be. I kept saying pendant, but I think that, and it's kind of too big for it's kind of too big for a keychain too, but I think that's what it's going to be, is a keychain, because I can't see anybody wanting to wear this color as a pendant. I don't know. So, and I think I'm holding it, yeah, I keep holding it upside down to you, but this is how it really goes. I don't know, I don't have a name for it. It's like a love letter pendant, but yeah, we'll see. It's not going to be a pendant, I already know that. I think I'm going to make it into a keychain. All right, I'll be back when it's all glossed and I'm ready to put the resin in. Here we are. It's all shined up with our gloss and ready to start piecing everything together. So I'm going to use some Let's resin on this project, and I'm just going to put a little bit at the bottom so that everything I picked out to go in it kind of sticks initially down to the piece. Just taking a toothpick and spreading the resin around so it's just touching everywhere, so that everything that I set in it kind of hits the resin. Going to take our little piece first and drop it. I wanted it at a cat corner inside, and I really wasn't worried about whether it was upside down, right side up. I just wanted it in there. And I am going to go ahead and put the flowers in. I didn't have anything in mind when I was doing this. I just picked out colors that I thought complemented what I was doing, and I picked out that green. And because my Skinner blend didn't get as green as I wanted it to, so I wanted to put some green in here some kind of way. I'm just going to fill over the top with some resin, and we're going to put the resin in the light. The Let's resin takes 2 to 4 minutes, and I think I left it in for about 20 minutes tops. We're going to take our butane lighter and hit it a couple of times to make the bubbles pop in the resin. And there it is. And you know, I wouldn't be me if I didn't add some rhinestones to this project. So I picked out a couple of rhinestones, and there you see them down on the bottom. And that is our piece. I am going to go ahead and put the keychain part on, and there we are. That's the finished piece. I hope you enjoyed watching this. If you are interested in working with polymer clay, please go to Jessama Tutorials. She has some wonderful tutorials out there, so easy for the beginner and for the amateur like me. If I can do it, anybody can. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.